Check this out. You're going to want to listen to this real quick. You don't lack empathy. You're just emotionally tired, right? You got too much going on. Too much love and hip hop. Too much Love is Blind. Too much whatever day shows is on. Too much 48 Hours. Too much Empire. Too much, just too much of it. There's too much going on. So what does this do? Causes you to hear too many problems. What happens when you hear too many problems? Now you go and go scroll. You go on the internet. You see somebody like me boo-hooing because I'm gonna need some help. Want some help? Take some help. Just got broken up with when I was on Love and Hip Hop. So you see me boo-hooing. Now you're scrolling past a whole bunch of struggles. What happens? You're emotionally tired, right? Your brain wants to protect itself, so it shuts off. So the next person that comes and says, "Hey, can you," like a mom or a parent or father who's had the kids all weekend, you're just like, "No, enough's enough." And so you say no, and you don't take into account what's going on in front of you. You don't take into account what's going on with the other person. All you know is that you're tired. You discern that you can't do anymore. You want to check this out because I'm actually right with you. You're not non-empathetic. You're just emotionally tired. But are you unloving when you're emotionally tired? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Like, am I unloving when I'm emotionally tired? And if so, what can I do to fix it?
You don't need more noise. You need to mute what's lying to you.
I've been running from mirrors, running from Sundays, running from me. But you found me anyway. I was raised in the smoke where the truth get bent. Cold water heart, but I still feel heaven sent. Eyes roll back when they preach that grace, but I cry in the dark when I see my face. Red rag tied just to cover the pain. Rebel with a cause, but I'm numb to the rain. Got scars I don't show on the ground. Smile for the world, but I don't know who I am. They say slow down, but the streets move fast. I've been drinking from wells that never last. Why I keep chasing water that never satisfies my soul. Why I keep playing stronger when I'm breaking out of control. You met me at the well when I was thirsty for attention. You saw through the shell, past the pride and the
So I have it all written down here in this little book right here. Yeah, notes, receipts, all that good stuff. So rumor is that we everybody wants empathy, but we only want it until it costs us comfort. Think about it. We all want empathy when we do wrong, but when we've been wrong, but when we do wrong, then all of a sudden it costs us a little bit of comfort, a little bit of pride, a little bit of being humble. Therefore, we ain't the same with that empathy. So what does that mean? Empathy is not automatic. That's for all my empath people. That's for all of the I'm special, I have this special ability. Yeah, you can have a heightened sense with empathy, but it's not automatic. So therefore, we all have to practice it. Just some of us use it a little bit more than the others. It's not an emotional convenience. Therefore, it's not something that you just pull out when it's convenient to you. It's discipline under pressure. So that's what we'll be talking about today. How do we overcome it? We have to have a new mind about it, a new approach. Be not transformed by the patterns of this world, or be not conformed by the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's in Romans 12:2. That's the approach that we'll have today. That's the new mind that we'll be going to today. We'll be transforming, and we'll be transforming with the new mind. So we don't like empathy, we like emotional training. Kind of like the people who come in here and y'all just sit here and y'all watch it, and y'all don't do the like button. You don't hit the subscribe button. You don't hit the share button. You just come and you faithfully look and watch, and you're like, I don't like him, and then you do nothing. So the least you can do is just make a comment and let me know you don't like me. Or you could at least hit the comment and say you do like me, or at least you can do a share, but definitely subscribe. If you're going to be here every day, then help me help you, give you something that I like by hitting the subscribe button, and I'll faithfully show up, I promise. Now, emotional training. So we don't like empathy, we like emotional training. Think about it. We have too much content right now, which I'm not talking about me. Make sure you still come watch me. But we have other people, way too much content. This time content's fine. We have too much exposure, and we have too many issues in our own lives. Now we times it by 20, 30, 40, 50 billion. Like we have too much content that's coming in. And then we shut down, right? We have so much content, we're getting overloaded, and then we shut down. So what do? We protect ourselves. How? By numbing it out. So then we think by cutting things off and by protecting our peace and not dealing with things that we are somehow enlightened and mature with this method. No, you're just not dealing with nothing a lot of times. So that friend that comes to you, hey, I'm really struggling, man, I need help. Girl, I was dealing with that last week. And then you just walk off like you did not help anybody. In fact, you just created an enemy. So now, therefore, you created an enemy instead of making a friend that day. So you lose. Let's say you have a friend who comes to you and says, hey, I'm struggling, bro. I need this. And you say, man, me too. Everybody's got to defend themselves. It's, eye for an eye out here. You did not handle anything. You just shut down and you just walked off. Or you think you're encouraging somebody by saying, you got to overcome that. You got to man up. You did not help anything that day. All you did was just avoid. So that is not maturity. A lot of times we're saying boundaries and we're saying protecting peace, but what our actions, we're just avoiding people. We're not dealing with things. It's better to tell the truth if you want to end something or cut something off, but we don't have to just avoid everything and say we're protecting boundaries and then criticize. That's not it. So because what that is doing is it's causing emotional overload, right? So you're running away from things. It's like cleaning your room and you sweep all the dirt and all your dirty clothes and everything under your carpet. Like, yeah, eventually it's going to become noticeable that you've probably overloaded it with dirt and you need to do a thorough clean. So numbness is self-protection, not maturity. So with our mind, let's do a real quick little thinking real quick. Let's just share a thought. Let's brainstorm. Now, let's say a friend is in need. They're in need of help. They're feeling overwhelmed, whatever it may be, right? And let's say they go to you. And let's say your approach is, you know what? I'm in this new space in 2026 where I'm only looking out for me, right? So everything's filtered through me. So let's say you have that approach. Then let's say they go to their neighbor and their neighbor has that same, what do you know? What a surprise, same approach. It's 2026, I'm only taking care of me and mine. Y'all know the little cute stuff we say for the New Year's resolution that we don't even like follow through on, but we seem to always follow through on the ones that are cutting people off. I ain't dealing with nothing. We always have that one. So on and so forth, to the third, to the fourth, to the fifth, to the sixth, to the seventh person. I mean, let's just imagine that we're all watching the same thing like Facebook, or we're all watching the same thing like Instagram, and none of us are really reading or like digesting anything other than that. So again, this is all hypothetical, but let's say just a good portion of us, that's all we're doing. What do you think the type of household we're creating? All right. So we have a household where everything is just about me. It's filtered through me. If it ain't happening to me, I ain't worried about it. All right. So now we send out people from that household to the community. What type of community are we having? All right. So we have a community with the majority of people where they're just looking out for me. I'll let hypothetically, let's say, what kind of city will we have then? If hypothetically everybody was just looking out for me, what kind of state will we have? What kind of nation will we have? So we can't act surprised when we see certain things, because we can't even say like I would never, or how could somebody do? We can't say it because they're all make up of us. So if the environment is not to your liking, a good question is what am I doing because I'm contributing to it? So it sucks even as I'm saying it. I'm thinking about myself right now. It's just like, man, where am I living at? Where am I could be emotionally better at? I know I make a lot of mistakes where I will, I could joke around a little bit too much or whatever it may be. So that's me and my self-reflection, but I have to be honest, like I'm contributing to the environment by being in the environment. So if the environment is all about me, then we gotta watch that. You'll see it too, because it only does take one person to change the environment. There was a study where they had like these monkeys or whatever, and the monkeys had a collective mind frame, and they had a monkey separate from the island, and he did something different than all the other monkeys. Once they introduced him into the new environment, all the other monkeys adapted and they changed to his way and his thinking. Now, if you're out there and you know the exact study, you know what I'm talking about, so don't chop me up too bad. Come in the comment box, leave a comment, and put the correct, the exact version of it, but I'm paraphrasing. More of the story is that one person can change an environment, but we are putting a lot of weight on that one person. And after all, Jesus had all our sins on us at one time, and we still don't even believe him. So it's like, we need to try something different. And maybe let's stop putting it all on one person. Let's start doing it collectively. Let's change the me to the we. That's all you got to do. Real quick change. Different mindset. All right. So some boundaries are wisdom. And that's for the obvious ones. And I always say that, and it's not because I am making light of a serious situation. It's just because we know what to do when it's the serious things, right? something, the Bible even says that some things or some evils and some actions shouldn't even be spoken of, right? That's implying that we all know, and it takes common sense, and we don't even want to give power to some of those things. That's how they thrive. So we know the serious situations. But for the little ones, the juice and cookie ones, little Timmy didn't freeze when I hit him when I played freeze tag, or for he stole my little ring pop, like that, the stupid stuff. Like the boundaries are becoming ridiculous, right? If it's a little thing, think it, like we're putting boundaries on people because they took my favorite Jolly Rancher, like, and now I'm cutting them off for life. So this is what we need to start doing. Like, think about that person. If they were you, or never see them again tomorrow, you'll never be able to make up whatever little stupid thing you got going on. They'll never be able to get a chance to ask for forgiveness for whatever little stupid thing that's going on. Like, cutting people off socially is basically what you're saying is that person no longer exists to you. And in a world where we're going to be becoming more and more isolated, we're going to be retreating more and more to our rooms, and more to our phones, and more to our TVs, and connection is becoming less and less. Like, you don't need to go out your way to cut people off and set boundaries. Like, trust me, you ain't got to deal with them. They probably don't want to deal with you, like, to be honest. So you don't have to, like, go overboard and go and recruit people and let's collectively cut them off. Like, you don't got to do all that. Again, serious stuff, cool. But if it's the little things, like, you can work it out. You know, I can't tell nobody what to do exactly, and I can't say how many times, you know, your level of forgiveness is. Maybe this is the 99th time that they've stole your ring pop, and you feel like it's time to cut them off to teach them a lesson. Cool. But I'm just saying, like, at least always try to find a way to forgive. Always try to find a way to keep that relationship open, because, again, as a culture, if we're all having this mindset, what do you think is going to happen? And I'm more of the type where I don't like to be with the crowd. Like, if I see 99 people going that way, I'm just that one ignorant one. I'm going the other way just because. Like, if I see 99 people answered A on a test and B is a ridiculous answer, I'm going to be the one person that you see voted B. That's just how that's my makeup. Let's say Michael Jordan going into the Hall of Fame. 99 people say vote him in. I'm the one that's going to be like, I don't know. And I'll do it just because y'all 99 did it. Like, I don't like going with the crowd, and I don't think nobody does. But there's other areas in my life where I am with the crowd because we are being led. Always remember that we're being led by what we watch, what we eat, where we sleep at, all of that. There's somebody controlling the narrative. So think about that. Man, all right. So new mind, right? Let's start with the M. Mirror awareness. Stop reacting. Start observing yourself. So, off top, if you're in a situation, a friend calls you over, they want to talk about something, they need help with something, they are struggling with something, you know, and there's those awkward moments where they're crying and you're like awkward because you don't know how to deal with emotions or whatever it may be. That's the time where you need to stop reacting, start observing yourself, start watching yourself. What am I doing? Okay, maybe this is not the time to bust out Uno cards while they're trying to tell me about a loved one that just passed away. So maybe I need to put those away. I can wait a little bit. Let's go to the I², intentional and interruption. So we're going over with intent to listen, intent to be there for a person, intent to listen, not even to try to control how they're gonna be left feeling, but we're going with the intentions of being there for them, and we're going over there not to interrupt. So we're gonna limit interruptions. We're gonna listen more than we talk. Pause before judgment or dismissal. So we're going to wait to be judgmental and wait to dismiss them, even if they go over there and they're crying because they just discovered that the earth is flat. We're going to wait because obviously they're crying, but we're going to listen through. It's obviously affected them. So we're not going to judge them and we're not going to dismiss them. And we're going to go to the end. Name the emotion. If you cannot name it, you can't feel it correctly. So if you can't understand that somebody's being sad, you won't understand or have a correlation of what to relate it to. You can't make it personable. If you can't understand that a person is hurt, you don't have a reference for yourself. That's what the beauty of the English language does, is it allows us to be able to understand. It allows us to be able to communicate. So if somebody, even with this is a big one actually. So a lot of times, especially with us men, like, and I don't know if this is a gender thing or not. So maybe y'all can enlighten me. I know with me, my tone, if I'm yelling or if I'm loud, I'm clearly hurt. Like, I'm not gonna just yell off the handles for no reason. Like, I'm clearly hurt. I'm clearly bothered by something, especially if a person's asking for help. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I need help with this. And if, you know what, there's some resistance met, then clearly, like, the yelling and all that stuff, the anger is hurt. And so therefore, like we have to understand that. And because a lot of times what we're doing, again, is dismissing people, putting up boundaries, saying they're crazy. We know they're not crazy, they're hurt. Like, you know, recently, like with my rent and all that stuff, I was needing help. I went to my family, my tone wasn't the best. I will give y'all that. But clearly, if I'm going through a court situation with my kids, clearly if I have, you know, rent is piling up sky high, like clearly I am like feeling the pressure. I'm feeling like scared. I'm feeling worried. I'm feeling hurt. Like, oh my God, am I gonna fail? And yet the only focus was on my tone. Like, so let's do this. If a person's on fire, please, if they're screaming and hollering, don't help them because they need to get that they need to get that screaming under control. Like that's what it sounds like. Like we have discernment for all of the we have discernment when it's time to move. Like if a friend needs to help move and they stay on the third floor. We got discernment then. Like that's crazy. All of a sudden I discern that I've been too busy, I'm worked too hard. But when somebody is going through something like that, we have no discernment. How? See, again, we do what's best for self. We do what's best for us. So if you can name it, if you can't name it, you can't feel it. So you got to be able to name it. And then if you don't know it off the top, you got to slow down, listen, look for more clues. Ask God to show you, man, what is this person going through? So that way I can clearly see them. That's another thing. See, if you're full of me, then you're just going over there real quick, you know what, and just laying down judgment. You're not even stopping and going and asking what God should tell you to do. So just saying, indeed, do the work. So empathy without action is performance. We talked about that. So if somebody's going through something, you're seeking to understand that those feelings, once you understand it, should lead you to do something, right? Love should be like the fuel that goes in the car because you love the person. Now you got a little bit more incentive to push past yourself, a little more incentive to push past your fear, a little more incentive to push past your previous judgments, because that's another big thing. Well, I'm not helping this particular person anymore because I used to help people like that and they've always let me down. Well, yeah, if you have that attitude, then you'll be 0 for 30. You'll never have a victory in it. You'll never see the beauty of helping somebody because you decided to quit because the 30s previous didn't work. How do you know that it wasn't your fault? How do you know that you're going to get better after 31 and that person says yes? Think about it. So that's a new mind. You know what? That's a new mind. Mirror awareness, intentional and interruptions. Stop limiting interruptions. Name the emotion and doing the work. That's the new mind. And so how do we apply this? So with the new mind, and like with anything, you got to take your time with it. You got to be slow with your responses now. I have a really bad habit of cutting people off or finishing sentences. You know, I have a really bad habit with that. And give me grace, bro. I got ADHD. No excuse though. Like I'm aware of it, right? So therefore, I can work on that, and I can do that by slowing down my response. Ask better questions. Again, a lot of times we assume. A lot of times we're not willing to put in the work. A lot of times we're busy. A lot of times we're overloaded. We've gotten used to a director guiding us through, you know, an episode of our favorite show and leading us to what to do, what to think, how to think it. Nah, when it comes down to people and real life problems, you need to ask better questions. That's usually it. And sit in discomfort without escaping. I'm one bad with this too. It gets uncomfortable when somebody's going through something because if you don't have the answer, or there's some maturity, or there's just uncomfortableness, or maybe you've gone through this before and you're on that one of the people that went 0 for 30, like I was saying. It's like, man, I've helped people like this before, and it always turns out bad. And so maybe that makes you very uncomfortable when you see it right there before you. That's where you call on God. You can't do it on your own. Ask God to help you. Ask Him to slow you down. Ask Him to help you with all of this, really. So the weekly challenge that I would suggest is this week, don't just hear people, practice understanding them. Practice understanding them. Don't just hear them. Practice understanding them. Ask questions. Take time to listen to them, and see if you can get clarity on what it is that they may be going through. But that's just one thing. You know, this is on strengthening empathy. This is a very, very interesting topic for me. One that's very near and dear. Remember, I had a teacher tell me that empathy was not something that we should have. That we should not put ourselves in other people's shoes, and that is very bad thinking. And I remember she told me that when I was like 7 or 8, and it really stuck with me. And because I could never let that really sink in, and I could never really let it go. I always put myself in people's shoes when I think, and sometimes too much, right? Sometimes too much. Sometimes I you know, and that everything in moderation. So I just hope that this helps. I pray that it helps. I pray that we all can get better collectively. So it starts in the household though, like household jacked up, and it starts, the house within yourself. Jacked up internally, then I'm a jacked up person in my household. Now I'm bringing out jacked upness in the community. Now I got a jacked up community in the city. Jacked up city equals a jacked up state. Jacked up state equals a jacked up nation. Jacked up nation equals a jacked up world. And we're seeing a lot of that. So we need empathy. In Jesus' name.
Mind on stranger things, shadows sitting in my sink. Thoughts run, they never blink. Whole world tilted out of sync. Yoga mats and burning sage, chasing life from page to page. Kundalini up my spine, a medicine twisting up my mind. I went hungry, I went hollow, lost a day afraid of tomorrow. On the floor, blood on my knees, asking what you want from me. I woke up in the ruins of my life. Everything broken, but I still shine. Torn from my family out in the cold. They stole my heart, they can't touch my soul. I woke up in the ruins, but I see every scar that they left turned to keys. I woke up in the ruins of my love, and somehow I survived. Feeling on the paper, target on my back, beaten till the colors fade to black. Cheated, left for dead twice. Thrown from a bar like I was ice. Whispers in the bloodline, gossip in their eyes. Binary love, on and off lies. No house, no hand, just the dark in the dirt. But I learned how to listen to the truth in the hurt. I woke up in the ruins of my life. Everything broken, but I still shine. Torn from my family out in the cold. They stole my heart, they can't touch my soul. I woke up in the ruins, but I see every scar that they left turned to keys. I woke up in the ruins of my love, and somehow I survived. From the mat to the cell, from the book to the alley, I found my heaven in the wreck. On my valley left for dead, but I heard that hush, quiet voice saying, child, get up. I woke up in the ruins of my life.